Hi there, and in this video I'll be discussing my plan not to repot many of my trees this year and discussing whether it worked or not. Hi there maple fans, and in this series of videos I'll be sharing what I do throughout an entire year on a monthly basis. Please note that these months are based on UK timings, but of course can easily be adapted to anywhere else in the world. So here we have a selection of trees I bought in early spring this year. Decided not in fact to repot, which is what I probably would have done in previous years, but rather keep them in their original 1 litre technical pots and sort of see what happens. They're all grafted, they're all from a good supplier in Dorset in the UK, but these are commonly available all over the place and they're easily mail ordered as well. So if you're not close to somewhere that sells Japanese maples in variety, then this could be a really good option for you. So let's start off with Ariadne here. Just having a look at the overall tree in terms of its health, etc. Can certainly see some new red leaves there, some growth, which is great. Some green ones, some older ones too. And overall, the tree looks pretty happy, I would say. Worth noting that at this point in the year, it's late July now, so a lot of the summer has gone. That even though this has been in shade, it's still the case that you can't expect every leaf to be perfect, and as we go through this video you'll see that it does vary, but the overall tree looks very healthy. I think I'm very happy with it, and in this case, you know, on first observations it seems as though I did the right thing, but you know, you can't really trust to that judgment because the top of the tree is not what drives the tree, it's not the engine. And by gently lifting it out of the pot, I'm not necessarily recommending you do this, but if you're very careful, you can. As you can see, the compost has come up out of the pot in a complete unit. It's all together. It's not falling apart. It's almost like making a sandcastle, really. Plenty of roots, both small and large, that are starting to wrap around the pot now. And this is really, really key because that's what you want at this time of year. You really do. If I was to repot that now, I'm just adding extra soggy compost to the outside of it, where that's going to protect it during the winter months. So here we have Shishigashira, and I've had trouble with these in the past because they are, particularly initially, very slow growing. Some trees put on a massive growth spurt when they're very small, some grow more slowly consistently. I find Shishigashira is quite slow to start with and picks up. There's actually not much compost in there, which I think is right, and that's worked very well. It's sort of less than 1 litre really. But overall the tree looks really, really healthy. And I find with Shishigashira it sort of very soon looks like a miniature version of the bigger version really, which is quite interesting. But there's absolutely no way I should have potted that on. It's grown a bit, it's doing very well, but it's not going to outgrow the problem of me putting it into a great big pot really. You're just not going to get away with it, where some of the faster growing trees you maybe can. And here we have its very bigger brother really. That tree's only about 4 years old. So by starting small and gently potting on, actually the growth rate of your trees overall can be quite significantly improved. Whereas by overpotting to start with and causing the roots to rot, you're only going to inhibit growth in the long run. So I do hope you keep watching through the video because I've got some trees coming where things have actually gone wrong. I'd never mind sharing that with you because if I've done the wrong thing, we can all learn from it. But this Benotark is looking very, very good. Just showing you the graft point there that's sort of merging in nicely. So eventually, like on the previous Shishigashira I showed you, it all becomes sort of one trunk really. You can hardly see any difference. Leaves, again, not too bad at all. But just noting there are some that have dried out at the tips a little bit. I know this isn't overwatering because I'm kind of very careful with that, and it's a bit sporadic over the tree. Some leaves are a bit better than others really. If they're all like that, then you probably have a root problem which is more serious. But I do think that's worth noting because these are really immature trees, and therefore I'm glad I kept them in their original pots and let them sort of get established a bit more, because that's honestly what they need. Next year that might tolerate a bit more sun. It might do rather better. But I'd always advocate putting a tree out in the sun if it is sun tolerant at the beginning part of the year, so it leaves out into the sort of spring sunshine. But yeah, when they're this small, I would avoid it really, because it's too risky. Now look at how that's come out the pot again. It's completely clean. All the compost is in a nice tight ball. And as I was saying before, that will act like a jacket really for the winter and protect it from frost. So if the roots on the outside get a little bit frostburnt, they are hardy, so they kind of shouldn't. But if they do, the inside and the core of the roots will be protected. So here we have Tamukiyama, which is renowned for being sun tolerant. But once again, I wouldn't do that in the first year. I'd give it a chance. But that's probably why there is no evidence at all really of sun damage, because it is in semi-shade. So the little bit of sun that it does get won't cause any harm at all. And it's really good to see the leader here just sort of sprouting very nicely, sort of new leaves and branches. So overall, very good. I mean, the trunk is still very thin, as they are on these trees, and it is relatively slow growing. It's not going to grow at a huge pace. It's probably one of the slightly faster dissectums, but nonetheless, I think that's fine. Now, you might say that little pot with that big-ish tree above it looks a bit silly, but as we'll come on to, there are ways and means of actually making it look good while doing the best for the plant, really. And just to say, if you'd like to come with me on my Acer journey, please do like and subscribe to my little channel. It really helps. I've also recently set up a Patreon site, so that's a great way of supporting me too, and help out with some of the costs of my excursions really. There's also the offer of some personal help, if you'd like it, either in a group format or on a one-to-one basis. So here we have Okagami, and once again I must have dislodged the pot out of its little larger pot full of stones really. But this looks fine, it's doing well, it's quite big. But just note that little solution with that pot there is very functional, and it works for me really. I'm quite happy to wait till next year, get it potted up into a bigger size, as long as those roots are wrapped round and looking good. So it's quite funny that people, but understandable, that people get a little pot home, they immediately want to repot it because they just want to put it into a nicer looking pot, or they just have a bigger pot available, and then at that stage perhaps leave it in that bigger pot for many years. But it doesn't mean just because you bought a 1 litre pot it's due to be repotted. So moving on to this Kinchi, which is where I've done the wrong thing, and it's good to admit that really. I've put that into a bigger pot here, and what's wrong with that? That doesn't look a much bigger pot than the technical pot it originally came in, but you could well be doubling or tripling the amount of compost that you're actually adding to the tree by doing this. It sort of doesn't look a lot, but volumes are quite funny. The pot's a bit wider, a bit taller, bit greater diameter, and suddenly you've had a load of compost to it. And interestingly, that's when I did repot last year into a bigger pot, and it's just not done, I don't think, quite as well as some of the 1 litres that I've left well alone really. So the big tip, I suppose, is with Japanese maples is sometimes it's just better to leave well alone and kind of let nature take its course, to be honest, and not do what you want, but again do what that tree desires really. So moving on to this Beny Mako, which I did actually leave in its 1 litre pot last year, and they've repotted this year once that 1 litre pot has filled with roots, once it's developed. And I think you'll see that in this bigger pot this is a much better proposition. There's a lot more tree to the pot size than there is with Kinchi in the previous example, and this tree from now is doing really well. There's lots of new growth going on there at the ends. I'm just really happy with it. This is the grafted version. I've got a supermarket version too, which I've kind of left in a smaller pot because that's going to suit it better. But loads of growth. It's so counterintuitive, but leaving them in smaller pots can really work. So I normally have trees that anyone can buy because obviously I have an international audience, which is absolutely lovely. But this is an example of one that you can only get from my supplier in Dorset. And just look, it's doing really well again because I left it last year, because I didn't mess with it. It's kind of like, if it isn't broken, don't fix it really. And this year it's put on a load of growth. It's filled out. It's starting to develop its habit. despite, you know, the pot now looks a bit small for the tree really, and it's really about unlearning that principle in our minds to kind of think it needs more because it really doesn't. Now, if I really wanted to, if I bought a nice decorative pot, I can just put it around that one and then put some stones around the edge between the pots. That's absolutely fine. Quick note, never put stones on the top of these trees though, just bark, because the stones themselves will get really hot in the summer, and that's, you know, not what we want to do. And also that the porous pots I use will have a cooling effect in the heat of summer too, so that works really, really well. And here we have a bigger tree, Atrilinear, and there's an example, as I promised really, that I've just put the technical pot in a slightly bigger pot. No, it's not decorative, but it could be. Again, we don't want any stones on the top there. The advantage there is it gives it weight. It's not going to get blown over. It just looks slightly better, and it's just a way of getting the best of both worlds. So the pot size looks a bit more sensible compared to the tree aesthetically, but we have a good compromise. We've kind of negotiated with the tree and met its halfway really, not put it in a great big pot because we've got one going spare sort of thing. Lots of new growth. Because I've left it a year, it's hardened off, so it hasn't got any sun damage really. Overall, yeah, I think in this one it was a good decision to just repot it, but in the sense of I've done in this example. And then we've got a Contifolium, which kind of regrows quite slowly in the first year or two. Or maybe it's the fact that, again, I put it in a pot that's a little bit too big. Now it's kind of filled the pot better, and I didn't repot it, and I left it as a sort of 3-year-old tree in the pot it had already been in. This year it's absolutely exploded. It's really come on leaps and bounds and just enjoys it. So I haven't taken this out of its pot, but I bet that pot's full of roots and will be, you know, in a great position to overwinter and then sort of move forwards next year really. So I've never really come across much of an issue with underpotting. Eventually the trees will get upset and they will look a bit drab and they'll need to be repotted, and we can spot that, but that takes years. Whereas having pots that are too big can be fatal, to be honest, to trees, and crazy though it seems, that's true. So overall, I think a very successful year. I've lost none of the trees I bought, and they're all looking really good.